All right, Bill. We're ready when you're ready.
Okay, I am ready. Call this meeting to order, DeKalb County Commissioners. Today's date is October 2nd, 2023. Good morning, Dottie, Larry.
Good morning.
The Larry Show starts out first. What you got? You got some,
Well, I got the quote for the generators. So on one is a quote for a generator that will run the courthouse and a generator for the jail. Two is a generator that will run the jail and the courthouse together with the idea of when the new jail gets built, that the big one will go out there. So I looked the quote over. As far as material, if you combine the two, it's pretty close, and so is the labor charge. It's pretty close. It's a little bit more, but we're talking a big generator. So the expense is in the generator, the difference between the two.
yeah.
So I just wanted to get this to you guys so you can go over it, look at it. The only thing that's not in this is we will have to do a concrete pad for it to sit on. And I told him that we would do that part of it. We would get somebody local here to do it. So.
Well, these quotes say they provide for concrete pad.
That is for the first one, I believe. Yeah, the second one.
The second one they didn't do.
I
Well, it
believe.
says provide for concrete pad.
Pardon? It is, isn't it?
Provide for concrete pads in the alleyway west of Sheriff's.
Okay, well then he put it in there.
Yeah, they're just saying they won't. I got a question, so 750 kilowatt, what would it be?
Bill had brought it up that we would get one that's bigger, so when the new jail gets built, we would take that bigger one and take it out there, and then just put a smaller one here to run the courthouse.
Wouldn't it be better to patch that one together, to keep it running and then install one here? And then, I mean, installation's big money, running all that conduit and running all, I get the idea is that you then put the little one there, but, because you said there wasn't room really to put one by the courthouse anyway, it'd have to be off premise a little bit.
Yeah.
But I hate to install one, then rip it out and then reinstall it. I mean, that's, seems counterproductive.
The other thing is, I don't know how far out of jail is, but let's just say I'm going to use 10 years for just a figure.
Probably 5 or 6, but.
By 5.
So 10 years out, that means that generator's 10 years old. Technology changes so much in that period of time that it would be, that's my thought on it. That it would be, I don't want to say outdated, but it would be a 10-year-old generator that you'd be moving to a brand new facility.
Yeah.
Well, another thing I noticed was the two smaller generators are combined at 530 kilowatt.
Yeah.
The single big one is 750 kilowatt,
Yeah.
considerably bigger than the two combined, and evidently they've sized that for the jail, the new jail.
Yeah.
Obviously, it'd have to be big enough.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're getting a big jump in that generator cost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then another thing we have to consider is going to be the cost of moving that generator out there.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's not going to walk out there on its own.
Yeah. And as big as it is, it's going to.
It's going to take a crane, a
Yeah,
big crane.
yeah, crane to pick it up and a semi to haul it out
Yeah,
there.
low boy.
Yeah, I bet you'd have 20, 30 grand just in moving it and unhooking it properly and hooking up the new one. I would be more, is there any way, I know we got an old one over there right now, but is there any way to keep that thing hobbled going until, and not do one here until we're ready, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's a possibility, that's an option. It's-
Because,
you
and
wanna-
I think these guys are still pretty far out on timeframe too, aren't they?
Yeah.
6 months to a year.
Yeah, and he said that if, basically, if you want to get it ordered, you're looking at a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we need to do something here, that last power outage where we had all this IT problems, bringing everything back online. Morning shot.
It-
And I think we're,
You'll still have that though, because you'll lose power initially until it fires up unless you go with a battery backup system, and you could double the cost with a battery backup system. You know what I'm saying? Like a big UPS system.
yeah.
So I don't think that would stop you from losing your IT again, you know, because you are gonna lose power for 20 or 30 seconds usually. Transfer switch has to kick in, generator start up, and then it has to apply power. And I think there's about a 30-second delay for it. But here nor there, it's still a good idea, but I don't think that'll stop the problem we had there.
And we may just look at keeping the generator that we have right now for the jail and putting one down there for just the courthouse.
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, that's what
Take
I
care
was
of the
thinking.
courthouse.
That makes
and-
more sense to me.
Well, yeah, I
And
don't, $500,000.
400 grand and then
for-
move it.
Well, yeah, so you got another 50,
Then you got to
60.
install another one here.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make any sense to do it twice.
Well, you know, I mean, the whole jail timetable thing is completely up in the air now anyway, so.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why I'm saying, you know, let's say you start building 5 years, it'll take, what, a year to build it, maybe?
Yeah.
2
2 years,
Two?
probably close
year
to
and a
it.
half
At
anyway.
best, a year.
So then you're looking, you know, you're still looking at 7 years.
Probably
then.
7 years. We're probably
Yeah.
7 years out realistically.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, I wanted to get it to you guys. I know we gotta get something going as far as the, I believe, parking money, right?
Yeah, that has to be committed by the end of '24.
Oh, the end of 24,
We got
okay,
another year yet.
okay,
Then December 31st to '24.
okay.
Is a 230 kilowatt will surely run the courthouse, right?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we currently have out at community corrections. At a 230 out there,
You know, it's bigger than
or
that.
is it a 400?
Community corrections?
Yeah.
I don't know how big that thing is.
I think it's a
huge.
450,
Is it a 450? Oh, that's right. They had that 12-cylinder MTU in it.
I
Yeah,
believe.
Yeah,
I
okay.
might be wrong, but
I think
it's,
you're right.
yeah, it was overbuilt, overkill.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could power the West End
Expansion.
Auburn with that one.
It ain't expansion, it was the power.
Now, I don't know this, but is that one big enough to run the jail? Would that be big enough to run the jail too?
No,
Well, here's a dumb question. Would it be possible, we're gonna put the new jail next to community corrections, right? I mean, is it possible to put the 750 out there, take that one and move it here? I mean, if you're gonna move two, you might as well move the one you already have. Could we kill two birds with one stone here by doing a 750 out there now? Or when we're ready to do this, you know, and then just have them move that one here? That one's what, 5 years old? I know that's a little overkill, but
Does the 750 do both? Would it do both?
no. Oh, no, it might. That's what I'm saying. It might do the jail and community corrections. What does community corrections really run? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, what,
well,
Hot water and a stove,
yeah,
really.
And lights.
A lot of lights.
security system, but I mean, I'm wondering if we could ask them, hey, would this power a new jail and community corrections? Just a thought.
I would doubt it. Because they sized it for the jail only, the 750.
Well, originally they were sizing it for the jail end
The
here originally
750 is for
though.
the jail and the courthouse.
And the
both.
courthouse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's also for the new jail.
Yeah.
Right.
Size for
So
the
to
new
add
jail.
the community corrections on top of that is gonna be another,
But if they overkilled it that much, maybe this is overkill too, even just for the jail. I mean,
could be.
I don't know, just something, surely I wonder if it's a fully automatic transfer switch where it just powers the whole panel, or if they have select circuits that kick in, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of home generators, you segregate the circuits out you want, even though it's automatic, you wire it to it. So I think we need to learn a little more. That's
Okay.
a lot of money.
Let's sit
We
on
gotta
it
think
for,
on this a little
let's sit
bit.
on it for a week.
Yeah, I think so.
Would you want them to come in and you could run questions by them, or?
Might not be a bad idea to ask them, at least float that idea out there that we had that 450
Yeah.
out there, and
I'll have them come in.
maybe it doesn't
Yeah,
make
if
any
they can,
sense.
I think that'd be helpful.
Yeah, see if you can't, they can't show up.
Okay.
I think that'd be better.
Okay,
I'll get it on the
They'll
schedule,
be
and
able
see if I
to
can get
make a
something
trip
set
up
up.
for $500,000.
Yeah, there you are.
Okay,
Yeah.
anything while I'm here?
no, don't
Okay.
think so.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
You have a great day. Yep.
Okay, Dottie.
Thanks for keeping everything standing over last week.
Yeah.
And that right there is one of the reasons why Larry and I will be reviewing his job description. So that actually is on our agenda. And he is also, we have received just a boatload of resumes for the position of maintenance officer for that floater for the 3 departments. And so he and I are going to talk about the ones that he has reviewed that brought, the 3 really that are at the top. So we're moving along on that one. And then speaking of other things that we are recruiting, Change Academy has their juvenile coordinator position open. And, that really takes a special person, somebody who has some education background, so teaching, but then again, also a little criminal justice would be very nice. So a very unique position. So if you know anyone who knows anyone, please have them send us their resume. We have that position has been out there for a week now. And then Community Corrections also has a residential facility officer position open, so we're actively recruiting for that. Actively recruiting for CDL drivers for the highway department. But interesting, when I was at the Association of Indiana Counties conference last week, one of the awards that was given to a county was for a surveyor who created a program because she couldn't recruit qualified individuals, inspectors, field inspectors, people who could actually do some work in her department. And so she created a partnership with a local college for classes, and they have created the program, much like I've been talking about, hiring people with the right attitude and aptitude, and then get them trained the way that they should be trained, and then they sign a contract and they have to stay for X number of years. I'm still thinking that might be a way for us to go. We're not really getting the responses to our postings. And I think Ben and I know he's bogged down with getting the new facility ready, but eventually then he's going to end up with a problem not having enough personnel. So I think that is something that we really need to look at. I know it means us as a county spending more money to, on educational opportunities for these individuals. But hopefully the return on the investment, it sounds like the return on the investment for that surveyor in that county is really paying off. So something for us to consider. We are evaluating the confinement officer, deputy sheriff officer. Those things are over at the sheriff's office. And as I mentioned, we are evaluating the maintenance officer for the 3 departments. Also, Sunny Meadows is evaluating their housekeeper resumes that have come in. Let's see. So those are really the active things for recruitment. Department heads meeting is October the 4th, this Wednesday at 8 a.m. in the White Room of the 9th Street Annex. So if anyone is available. Another topic is you had asked last week for us to do a survey, a polling of our employees regarding the holidays. And we're we're giving it a full week to make sure that we have gotten all the votes that, that we're able to get. But I can tell you that probably the day after Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve will be the big vote getters.
Really?
So, but as soon as Carolyn gives me the final tally, I will be back in touch with you about that. I am still waiting on the policy that you changed regarding travel. I am still waiting for one court to return their acknowledgements. The something I'm going to be doing that was brought up due to some issues that we're having with a couple non-elected departments. We are probably going to review the category in which most of our non-elected second-in-commands, we don't really call them first deputies, but the assistant whatever department head, we may have to create, I talked to Wagner, Irwin, and Shealy when I was at AIC last week to see, is it a separate category that we ought to create? They really feel that it needs to be just a different a classification. We currently have in the professional, the PAT, we could add another level and perhaps put those individuals in there. We also have a couple, well, we have a department head, at least one, who is in that category and is not in our special occupations executive area. And these are things that, you know, they were done back in 2019 and you know, we're tweaking. So that'll be something that we will work on. And speaking of the
Okay,
AI.
wait a minute.
Sorry.
Why wouldn't WIS have?
Because
done this
the
prior?
person at the time really, the job description really didn't bring it up to that level of, because of the responsibilities, but I feel that one department head in particular, that one really ought to be in there. So it'll be a review. Yep, should be a review. And then speaking of the AIC conference, the human resources as a department, now an affiliate of AIC, met, and there were two others and myself who gave presentations to this. It was a whole morning meeting. We also had a leadership motivational speaker who came in and gave a presentation. Then he also did a presentation as one of the breakout sessions. There was a breakout session on human resource challenges that was packed full of commissioners, council, just all kinds of individuals who came to that meeting. And I passed out my business card quite a bit to some counties who, you know, somebody asked during the question and answer, well, how do you even get started, you know, creating an HR department? What do you do? And so the presenters said, well, there are a couple people right here who can help you. I was one of them. And so another, the Hamilton County HR director, and I stood up there and answered a bunch of questions for individuals and passed out business cards. So, you know, hopefully more counties will be, you know, they're realizing that they do have challenges when it comes to recruiting, hiring, separating just the life cycle of employees. And so it was really good, well attended, and you know, it was great to meet a lot of the individuals who we email back and forth. One of the best recruiting or you know, contacts that we have on that email list. So people reached out for questions, and more individuals met other individuals, and so, you know, just the network keeps growing. So that's great. Anyway, and I will be by myself for the next couple weeks. Lindsay is on FMLA. So I'll be back to being a one-man band for a while, and we'll just get through. Yep, we will get through what we get through. So anyway, you guys have anything for me?
Todd, Mike, anyone?
No.
Let us know for the next couple weeks if you want us to, we can do paper runs and stuff. We did it for Lindsay on Friday.
Thanks. On Thursday?
Yep, Thursday.
Thursday.
And we
Yeah.
did mail and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
All righty. Hey, take care.
all set?
Susan, can you let me know what we pay WIS every year when you get a chance?
Okay, we got
We
a
do
few.
pay, we paid one lump sum in the beginning and then we just pay for things they review now.
Right,
Okay.
that's fine.
I
Yeah,
just wanna make
whatever
sure.
the total was last year would be fine, and what we've spent this year, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good day, Dottie. Thank you.
See you, Dottie.
All right, we got a few minutes here that we have to burn up. Payroll bi-weekly.
Move to approve.
I will second the payroll.
Motion and second to approve payroll. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Payroll is approved. Claims, we had a batch of claims, it looks
Stack
like.
here. Move to approve the claims.
Too much money. Not gonna do it.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion second to approve claims. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Claims are approved. Pay the bills. Minutes.
Looked them over, I didn't see any errors. I'd move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve minutes. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Okay.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Who motioned that?
I think Todd motioned it
First.
and Mike
First,
seconded.
okay,
Got in the minutes.
thank you.
Unanimously approved.
I was so crazy that I didn't even print them on good paper. They're coming.
Okay. We got the DCCC Evapar Preventive Maintenance Agreement.
We are going to hold off on that.
Or he's trying to consolidate that with all the
Yeah,
other.
Larry thinks he might hear back. I thought maybe that's why he was here, but he wasn't. He might hear back today or tomorrow, so,
Okay.
because just the one, just for community corrections, they're wanting, 1,435, and he told him that that was too much, and that it would be better if we could just get them all on the same schedule, all on the same agreement with a discount, because that means we'd have 6 of them all together. So we're gonna hold off on that, and, community correction knows that we're working on that.
I understood it right, they're including travel time and
Oh, yeah.
mileage and
Yeah, of course.
might as well do it all in one time and, yeah,
Makes sense
that's,
to me.
that's kind of high. Yeah, for,
2 hours worth, it's plenty
Yeah.
of money. But there's a very few people that can work on that stuff. That's pretty specialized, so I
oh, yeah,
understand the
it's
cost.
got to be done, but
Yeah,
You want to make darn sure they work when they're supposed to.
yeah. I think I read in there, though, I kind of laughed. I said, change spark plugs.
Yeah.
And I said, spark plugs in a diesel? This-
well, I think it's a standard form.
I know,
for-
but I just laughed.
Yeah, I did too.
Change spark.
LP gas would have spark plugs.
Yeah, yeah, but
And there
not
are some
diesel.
LPs
There's a
out there.
block heater in there or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I have something that might not take real long.
Sure.
We've been in discussion, normally Dottie talks with you guys about the card readers and cameras over at the annex building. Okay, so Jack had talked with me, and he finally has gotten some information back, but we're wanting to know if you still want us to keep going. So just for the card readers and the cameras, it's coming in right around $12,000. And that's not including wiring or the strike plates that will have to go, somebody else has to do the strike plates. So before he continued on the avenue, he was just wondering if you're still wanting us to move forward with that and get all the other prices, or what you were thinking. And I believe that was 4 each, 4 readers and 4 cameras.
So where would those readers be placed? On each door? Front, back, or there side doors too, or that
Front, back. There is another employee
Oh,
entrance.
there is one on the backside
okay.
Yeah.
to the.
Southeast corner.
And
How
I
do
don't-
they currently get in?
East.
They use a key. So this would eliminate the key?
And people taking baths in the restroom.
Baths in the restroom.
Because I think, yeah, I mean, it would still stay locked, I think.
Yeah, so you'd have to, how would the public get in then? They'd have to just use the front door. That would be,
Yeah,
As
that has to be unlocked
far as
during
I
business
understand.
hours.
You guys don't have to answer right now. I just wanted you to know that before he does more time and energy into this, if this is way out of,
I'm gonna walk over there and look at that building too. I just wanna
yeah.
wrap my head around, but it makes, I didn't realize there was 4 entrances, so.
So if you guys could think about that and
I
then
wonder if they're counting.
let us know.
Okay.
Development services as an entrance.
Could be,
There's only 3 that I know of.
yeah. I thought there was only 2, but it tells you what I know.
Actually, there is a 4th one. Developmental services you can cross over.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Yeah. Miscellaneous topics, I got a really quick one. Highway salt barn is going up. The bunkers were placed last week in the wrong spot.
Oh, no.
Well,
can't
the
make
building
this
itself
stuff
is, the outside perimeter is okay. The center, the divider bunkers. They put them right down the center, split it 50-50. It's supposed to be approximately 1/3, 2/3.
Third, I was gonna say,
They had
yeah.
to bring the crane back and reset that center row bunkers. At their expense, of course,
Yeah. Okay.
and how they got the wrong print. Why the print was, who knows? Anyway,
You can't make this stuff up, Bill.
can't make it up. No big deal, but it is on the, I think, they're supposed to come in and set the building, the soft sides, middle of the month.
Good.
So that's underway.
More pictures out there since the walls
Yeah.
are up and stuff.
Yeah.
Looking good out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Coming along.
yeah.
I mean,
get some
They're on
nice
schedule.
weather for a while.
yeah, the
Some
good weather's
progress,
helped.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're on schedule
good.
for January.
Great.
So that's all I had on that. Okay.
We're
It
there.
is 9:00. Nellie, you want to come on up? We have a bid opening, so we have to go right on the hour to do that, obviously.
Morning.
Morning, Nellie.
Morning. Cedar Creek project, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah, Cedar Creek project.
Eckerd Park.
bank stabilization
Yeah.
project.
All right. First one is the Stanger Group. For a bid amount of $317,005.
Who is that again, Nellie?
That was the Stanger Group. And the next one is Flatland Resources LLC, and their bid is $297,218.60. All right.
Okay. And I believe those bids included all bucket trees.
Yeah, the trees were with the original design, so the 5-gallon. Yeah.
What was that initial bid we had on that? Remember?
Yeah, I got it with me. The initial estimate.
Yes.
The engineer's estimate the previous time was 289,431.
Had a bid though, that was the estimate, wasn't it? Engineers, but didn't we have a bid before that we
Yeah.
rejected?
I can
Yeah.
show you.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I
our,
could've-
yeah.
Okay.
So it was 289. Oh, the engineer,
That's the engineer's estimate.
and then,
These were the two companies.
yeah, so Stanger bid before 312 and now they're bidding 317, so they raised theirs $5,000. And is it Flatline you said? Oh, Flatland. They bid 340 before
Yeah.
and reduced theirs down 50,000.
297.
So they reduced by 50 and the one raised by 5.
A lot of that has to do also, the city is now taking the earthwork. So that was a big cost savings
Right.
now that the city is taking that.
They're
They
taking
don't
the
have
what?
to truck the
They're taking
spoils.
all the earthwork, because they originally, they were gonna have to take it further away, but now it's gonna be.
They wouldn't have to truck all those spoils from somewhere in Ohio, and now the city of Auburn's gonna take them, so that was like $90,000 of that,
Really?
or 70,000 of that original bid was transportation of the spoils.
Any other
And
questions?
thank you, Eric.
Questions or comments?
Well, so we have a $100,000 layer grant. We have a $100,000 commitment from Maumee River Basin Commission, and we are meeting on the 12th of this month to do the formal improvement, or formal approval on that.
Right.
So that leaves 97,000.
And I still have the Clean Water Indiana grant that I'm
Yeah.
waiting to
Yeah.
hear back from.
So I think we're a whole lot better shape than we were to
Originally?
go ahead and that.
Yeah.
to go
So we
ahead and
have
approve that.
200,000 committed, right?
Yeah.
Then
Well, and Nellie's working on that, another grant.
how much would that be? I remember you.
100,000.
It'd be another 100,000?
Yeah.
We could get it done, nothing out of pocket
Just grants.
possibly, huh?
And otherwise, it's a split between Cedar Creek Drainage Board and City of Auburn.
And what will the drainage board, Cedar Creek Drainage Board think of this bid here with that? Have we gotten any feedback or
Well, I'll be taking it to them.
you'll take it to them?
Yeah.
then? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the city
they'll-
will be looking at them too.
They'll think it's a whole lot better than the last
We'll be
one.
back here the 30th.
Yeah, I was gonna empty
For
their
awarding.
coffers.
Yeah.
You know, the last bid was gonna pretty much wipe out their save, so,
Yeah.
all right. I think that's probably the next step then, is to throw it back to them, right?
Yeah, pass it on.
Yeah.
And then we have it set for October 30th.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
come back for the award.
Okay, great. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that other grant comes through too.
Yeah. Yep. We should know the 24th on that.
Great, good, awesome.
Eric, you have anything to add? Okay.
Okay, so city's in for 50%.
Tyler, anything from the surveyor's office?
Same thing, that Cedar Creek Drainage Board, by then I'll allow the other grant.
Awesome.
Okay, do we need to move on this today to keep it going?
I don't think so. I don't think you'll actually move on it until the award on the 30th. I think this is just the first step of,
Okay. Okay.
of her process.
Yep.
Thank you, Nellie.
All right, thank you. Do you have anything
Are
else?
there any time limits on those bids?
We gave them 60 days in the, 60 days.
They're good for 60 days?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Now we really got time to burn. That was way too quick. Now we got Ben coming 10:15. Anything else to clean up as far as the miscellaneous topics?
Get me to have Chris run over? Let me see if I can get Chris to run over.
Early? Yeah,
Might as well.
Sure.
Okay, let me see.
Happen to find those WIS numbers, that would be a point of discussion as far as the manager position.
Let's talk a little bit about the van or pickup truck for the weights and measures. Todd had some idea. Well, Patrick was kind of leaning towards a van, a high-top van.
oh, okay, like a transit van?
Yeah, like a transit van, and his logic was that way that unit would be contained out of the weather, rather than a pickup truck that would be open. Van's probably gonna cost more, but maybe in the long run, I don't know, maybe a better option.
Probably so, and with pickup prices as elevated as they are, you know, it might not be any, that much difference anyway.
The vans are even more. But they're starting to become available. Like I said, companies like Amazon overbought and they flooded the market with them now. They are being scooped up, but they're being discounted. Trucks too. Your cheapest option is a regular cab 8-foot bed, half-ton with heavy springs. That's what I would go with. They still have a phenomenal useful load, but the van would work too, but you'd want to go in the van due to the extra weight of the van itself. You want to be in a 3/4 ton.
Yeah,
You want to be in a
2,500.
2,500.
Yeah,
They are available if you want me to, new they're 50 to 55,000 is what you're going to spend. Used, I bet you could get a low mileage used one somewhere in the mid-30s, I'm going to say, maybe upper 30s. So you can save 15.
I would think if we can find a low mileage used, because it doesn't give that many
Doesn't get
miles.
driven very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, you'll get out of warranty by time before you will on miles on that thing, so.
Easily.
But yeah, that's a good option. Now, I need to look and see if the doors on the, like Bill asked, do the doors on the raised because he'd need the raised roof, I assume.
Yeah.
Do they open with the top, or is the top, the turtle top, not part of the doors? I would think you'd want it to be part of the doors,
Yeah, it would almost have to be.
yeah, for him to be able to pour in, because,
Otherwise, he's gonna have to duck underneath that.
yeah, it wouldn't make any sense. Now, do they pump right into do they lift up the nozzle and pump into the tanks up there? Is that,
He still pumps into the 5-gallon containers.
okay,
We park right beside the pumps, obviously.
Right.
Pumps in that container. It has a fold-down step on
Okay.
this unit. You set the can up on a step, get up on a step, and then you dump that in. He has to manually dump that in.
so you still have to manually dump it?
Yeah. But he
Even
doesn't
with
have to
the
carry
new
it over to the main supply tanks.
Oh, you don't have to carry them back, you can just drive the vehicle over and then dump it all at once then,
Yeah,
correct?
because normally
he
it has to
can-
take them back to where they,
Yeah,
where
that,
where the
okay.
underground
That
tank
makes
is,
sense, yeah,
and dump them
In a lot
back
of
in.
stations, he can do the whole station without going over and dump it.
Yeah,
right,
So it's a one-shot.
right.
save a lot of time.
Well, and
And
it's,
his back, too.
yeah, and you're back and forth and, traffic in and out of that station.
Right.
And so anyway, yeah, why don't we look into the van thing a little more?
Okay.
That's what he would prefer, sounds like.
Yeah, because you have multiple choices. There's Nissan builds one, Ram builds one, which is Dodge, and then you have the Ford Transit. Those are
Yeah.
the big players.
I think the Ram is one that would work. He had said that.
With the high top,
the
right?
high top ram.
Yeah, I can look at it. I'll get a market on that, and then we can price new, and see if that makes sense to even pursue a used one. If it's, you can save 10 or 15 grand, I think it's worth it. If you're only gonna save 2 or 3 grand, then you
Yeah.
can buy the new one. you know?
Right, right. Get the warranty and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can look into that.
Okay.
You got that Navigator sitting on the line.
Yeah, we could use a Navigator. I'd cut the roof off of it. And that would look good.
Okay, what else?
On his way.
He's on his way? Good.
Hey, Bill, if you don't mind, Susan, this, you said a lump sum we paid. Was that 19 that we paid? Is that why 19 was $51,000 or
That was the initial setup, the initial startup.
that we start?
And that was 50,000 and then some extra like questioning and stuff, I guess. But the initial amount was 50,000.
So we paid them 16,000 last year, and that was in fees, basically, right?
They also did a, that was probably the year they they didn't relook at the job descriptions, but they relooked at all the wages for all of our categories. Because everything changes amount, so they had
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it. They got us back up to, so we could visually see where the people were as of current.
That's all information that council had asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay. Anything else real quick?
Real quick, I did talk to Jesse Iker.
Okay.
And I'm going to send you his phone number. He said just call him sometime this month. And
Perfect.
you guys can work out the
Okay.
times and dates and
Okay.
get it all set up.
Sounds good.
All right, Chris. Come on up.
Morning, Chris. Doing well. How about you? Good. You're always good. I like that. I like your attitude.
I printed off some copies for you guys, like I try to typically do, and one for Susan, and one for Andrew. So take one, pass it around. And Susan, I'll use your first or your whole packet, because I think you put it on special paper anyway, don't you?
I actually did it this time.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't print one for recording, so I'll just do it. I'll just use yours then.
But I have one
when
that's
it's ready.
not stapled, so we'll just use that one.
Okay. So we have a zone map amendment for one parcel, about 5.2 acres on County Road 54 and County Road 7, wanting to be changed from A1 Conservation Agricultural to A2 Agricultural. Reason for that change is the property owner split this back in 2022, I believe, and wants to split again to allow her son to build on the property. And when the UDO was changed, that only permits 2 splits off of that parent parcel in our A1 district. The maximum number of splits have been met with the CCAM property to the west, and then this parcel called the Passage is split from actually parcel 004 with a pond on it at 5688 County Road 7. The 015 parcel is not considered buildable. So if they would ever want to build on that property, they'd have to go through a rezone or a Board of Zoning Appeals to get another buildable lot approved. But
Out of curiosity, Chris, why isn't it buildable?
because it's not been platted, so it's been split off of that 5688. And so this is the quote farmstead or homestead. And then, which actually this guy owns the same parcel, so I don't know why they split it, but maybe for a mortgage or something, I don't know. But nonetheless, that's not considered buildable until it would go through the platting process through the Plan Commission.
Thank you.
So changing this to the A2 district would allow them to split this one more time. So one parcel would be 2 acres and one parcel would be 2.3, which would meet our standards of our A2 zoning district. but just, that's her request for that. I did include in here the existing zoning, the future land use map is agricultural. We typically don't change the future land use map when we do rezones. We will take a look at all that when we do a comprehensive plan rewrite, hopefully in 2025. But nonetheless, just a simple request from A1 to A2.
Like it's, is some of that property in wetland or at
So there's-
flood fringe at least, or not?
There's none in a wetland. It's just a lot of scrub brush.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And none of it is farmed. None of it has
Right.
been farmed. I was telling the Plan Commission when we reviewed this, our maps, we have maps that go back to 1990, and it wasn't farmed even in the 90s.
Right.
So, having it be A1 for a conservation agricultural district doesn't even make sense. But
I agree.
that's what it was changed to back in 2009.
Has trees and scrub brush on it.
Yeah.
Hasn't been farmed.
And
in
she cleared a bunch of
40
it for her
years.
septic and for the house, for her house to be built there.
Yeah.
And so she just, again, wanted to split it in half to have her son live next door
Makes sense.
to some
Okay.
families.
No, it makes sense to change it. Yeah, my mom probably wants me to move away, so.
Not closer, get further
Yeah,
away.
exactly.
All right, what is your desire?
And it was a unanimous approval or recommendation by the Plan Commission to come before the commissioners for a favorable recommendation.
Yeah, due to the fact it has trees on it and scrub brush and hasn't been farmed in 40 years, I think this is a good example of one that fits a different zoning. I'd make a motion to approve the zone map amendment for this 5 acres from A1 to A2.
Would that be 2023-R-18?
Yep, yep.
Okay, well then I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any additional comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I'll wait for your signatures and then I'll go get that.
Excuse me.
Not first, I know. Don't give me your pen.
I'm not.
Okay. I've got a good pen today. I'm not gonna lose it.
Good pens are hard to come
Yes. I know. Then when they quit, you're mad.
Yeah, yeah. They quit making them.
Yeah. See you, Chris.
Oh,
Should.
They should. I take, all my stuff is double-sided that I take.
As long as the margins are correct, shouldn't be a problem. They'll just charge you an extra $1 if they're not. Yeah, okay. Free plus $1.
You should be fine. Thank you.
okay. Any other miscellaneous projects or comments, questions, complaints?
Started researching the county manager position thing, and all I could find so far, and then I haven't reached out yet to the other counties that have it that we talked about, but so far there's just one statute that I could find that referenced it, and it was you had to do by resolution whatever activities that you wanted, and there were a list of them that you could do and have that, county manager handle, and I think it's pretty much anything that makes sense for a county manager to handle, and it sounds like they could, I looked at the websites for a couple of the county manager positions, I think, and some of them were almost like your personal executive assistant handling
Yeah.
your phone calls and routing things through that person potentially, and, there's a lot of different things you can do with it.
I'll give you an idea. I get calls all the time. People call me at work, which is fine, but I might not be there for 2 days. if that person could handle questions, that are general questions, of people, and if it's something we need to address, then they say, you need to actually speak to, and then they could give us a heads up, do the legwork for us. This person's seeking this information. Here's what I found about it. They want a phone call, that's just one of the areas that they could help in.
I'd hoped to talk to John Fry, who's Montgomery County, at AIC last week, and he wasn't there, so I've got a phone call in for him just to get some sense of how that's really working out. I know Hendricks County, I think, had a a county manager at one time and changed back to
Did
the
they?
traditional, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Give you an idea too, like,
I think it was Hendricks. We had some discussion during a conference last week about that whole thing.
the county manager could also need to be like bids for the generator or something. Larry comes in and says, hey, I need this new floor sweeping machine.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that makes sense, let's do it. Just not that we're so busy we can't handle stuff, but it'd be nice to have a go-to person that's knowledgeable in all departments and has a grasp on what they need. He could be visiting them weekly, just an idea there. I just think he could do a lot, or she could do just about anything we give them.
And of course, council has to fund it,
Council have funded, yeah. Oh, yeah.
so you're looking at 25 at least, because you can't get in the 24 budget.
Yeah, I would figure we're a couple of years out from actually, if we don't have the conversation and start saying what, I think time is if we're gonna start pushing forward on this as a probable idea, we ought to probably start defining what this person would oversee, what they would handle directly, what they would report to us on,
Yeah.
You'd have to get a job description.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Put together, because it would have to go to WIS.
yeah, WIS.
The idea of whether or not you would meet less would be up to you guys, whether or not you would reduce wages of the commissioners or something because you had someone else doing some of the administrative work. I think you'd have to be careful in not reducing. I think you have to be careful of reducing wages of elected officials during their term. So it'd have to be, there'd have to be some sort of transition there.
Yeah.
And that was a
Well,
talk.
there are certain statutory duties of the commissioners that I certainly am not going to be willing to cede at all, I mean, we're
Final
all-
contracts have to be
We're all
signed by you
independent
guys.
elected officials, and
Oh, yeah.
so,
To give you an idea, I've talked to, and it's in a different state, but the county manager in that state does it all. He writes the budget on a $2.5 billion budget, writes it himself and presents it to the commissioners. All the departments report to that person, every one of them, even the sheriff. And then he presents to the commissioners every 2 weeks. Kind of like Rick said, because our schedule is light at times. Times we're real busy, but what is that, a couple times a year?
yeah, we haven't had a long meeting past probably 11 o'clock for months.
No, we could almost go to a 2-week schedule,
That's what I was thinking, every bi-weekly.
yeah, and let the manager we'd be on call, of course. Hey, got this issue, what do you think? And if we have to, we come in, But I just think it's, maybe if we start writing down what we see as the duties of this person, limitations of this person, and just pencil stuff down, let's throw some ideas, bounce off each other, and let's get a list going.
I'm sure Johnny will send me their Montgomery County's job description.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Good place to start. I know they pay their guy $95,000 a year, plus
Yeah,
benefits.
yeah.
I saw something about 104, 108,000 average town or a county manager
Yeah.
wages, but I don't know.
I'll do it.
Yeah, the person I talked to gets paid $255, but again, he's managing a
That's Florida.
$2.5 billion budget though, and that's literally a 60, 70 hour a week job though. That person's on call Sunday, Saturday. Like, give you an idea, if a generator goes down, he gets the call.
Sure.
Goes on site, starts making the phone calls, gets with the department head, and I mean, we obviously can't pay anywhere near that, but I'm thinking more of that $80,000-$90,000 range probably for a good one.
Yeah, no doubt.
So you thinking,
Well, Montgomery County's smaller than we are.
Yeah, but we don't have to match that county though. I mean,
No, but I'm just saying.
I think you throw it out initially, that range, I think you get some people biting on it. There's people that don't want to work in the private sector that would love that job.
are you thinking to do your meetings bi-weekly only once you get that person
Yeah.
or now?
Once we get that person.
Probably wants to get that person.
Yeah, we can, I mean, there are weeks probably we could skip meetings,
Yeah,
and we can start looking at that a little more seriously, maybe.
But we can look at the agenda and do that as needed rather
Yeah.
Yeah.
than set up a bi-weekly
Right,
schedule.
exactly.
Because sometimes we need to be here.
yeah. Yeah, and I don't mind meeting every week. I'm just saying though, if we're more efficient, to have a loaded schedule and let someone else handle the day-to-day more efficiently than we do too, you know? Because sometimes Larry has a need, let's say on Tuesday, and really we have to wait till we get together the next Monday. You know, if you had a manager out there, say, no, Larry, just take care of that. Put our heads together, come up with a solution right now. I'll bounce it off a commissioner real quick, make sure, just makes sense.
Yeah, and even if we just had somebody do the countywide purchasing and.
Oh, yeah,
and,
that'd be all part of it.
And having that
Yeah.
list of vendors and all that, that's a big efficiency savings
Yeah.
right there.
Well, and a one contact person can also make great relationships with vendors.
Yeah.
And can also play the vendors against each other, you know, and say, well, if that's the point of contact, they know they have to go through them and they have to give that person the best deal and the best service, or that person's gonna write them off. Say, hey, we'll go to the next, you know, it's,
Yeah, the way we're doing it now is terribly inefficient.
yeah, it's inefficient. That's the word for it.
We're spending a lot of money we wouldn't need to.
Right. And we're not, you know, we all have our knowledge of expertise on certain things, but you get someone that this is what they've done before, managed a big company, let's say, you know, a lot of those positions are purchasing agents in bigger companies, and they also oversee departments, you know, that you can wear many hats today. You don't have to have just you can only do this. This person could be
I
very,
have,
go ahead. No, I'm done.
I have Ben on his way. He said he doesn't have much for you guys at all, so he's
Okay.
coming. Okay, so the economic development agreement, I guess that's gonna be up to you guys. I was, instructed that we were not doing that today. We were going to wait another week. But I think, I don't know, whatever I sent you guys last night at 9:30, because I actually didn't work this weekend, so I just saw it. That, I guess, has the current language in it. But I don't have any of it ready for you to sign or anything because we had just gotten it. So that's, I was under the impression we weren't doing that until next week. If you guys want to do whatever you want with that, you can, but I didn't think we were, and Ben will be on his way.
We already have agreed on the,
There was one term to be
Right.
changed. Chris and I looked at
Chris,
it, and
yeah.
we decided we wanted to ask them to change it, and they were willing to do that. Now, it was all happened kind of at the last minute, probably on
right, I
Friday.
remember that.
But they did change it in a way that was what Chris and I wanted to do, which was to refer to the UDO and
Right.
not do net or salvage.
Right.
And so they took care of that concern.
Right.
So as far as from the legal standpoint, I'm fine with the language of it, and
And we were all in agreement that we were
and I
good on
apologize
it.
to Susan for the last minute backs and forth on this stuff, but
And I read what you sent last night, so, even though you said we weren't gonna act.
Must have been really bored.
Yeah, I was really bored. I only watched so much Star Trek reruns.
Okay, so Ben's on his way. In the meantime, is there anyone in the audience that would have any complaints, questions?
Do you want me to try to get this all printed and ready, or are you waiting until next week? Which way are we doing it?
I've read it, I'm ready to act on it, to be
I'm okay.
honest with
I'm
you.
okay with voting on it today.
I just soon get it done and out of the
Okay.
way. Bill,
All
what
right,
do you
you guys
think?
talk and I will get things ready.
motion. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-R-17.
Decommissioning plan agreement.
Yeah, no, wait a minute, this hasn't been, wasn't published, so we've got to read.
So here's the thing, is I've been doing research on this.
Okay.
And I talked with Andrew and I talked with Don Stuckey. So through all the statute, what I technically have to do is I have to post, because I've already advertised everybody's meetings for both bodies once a year. I have to post on the door within 48 hours before the meeting, just saying you guys are going to meet such and such a day at such and such time. I do not have to put an agenda up until before this meeting. And that satisfies all that. In our local ordinance for your meetings, it says that as long as you guys and the council, whenever I have them, as long as we have provided you guys the ordinances, resolutions 48 hours before the meeting, and if someone would call me and request a copy of it, I have it, and if I have it available here at the meeting, that you can pass it on title only.
Okay,
But it doesn't have to actually be online.
okay. That's
Now,
good.
I don't have them, I mean, I can print them, I don't have them printed now because I didn't know we were doing this.
Okay,
So that's up to you guys.
interesting. Actually, we don't have to publish an agenda at all, according to Luke Brett.
We don't.
No.
That's why I've been looking into this, because it is very hard to finish your guys' meeting today and turn around and have that agenda completely ready by Wednesday to, at the latest, I can post it is 8:30 Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And that's very hard to do and get all of that ready.
Not
That's why
required,
I've been
yeah.
looking into it, because
Not required.
it's
Why don't you,
next to impossible.
what if you guys changed the local ordinance to be that you didn't have to post it till Friday? It would give you an extra day. The agenda, rather. I mean, I don't know, just throwing that up.
I don't have to do the agenda all.
Right, right.
I mean, generally, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do some verbiage, and I will post at least what I know of on the agenda, but actually have verbiage that it is possible to change, because a lot can happen between Wednesday and Friday.
Yes, it can. Well, then my motion stands to approve Resolution 2023-R-17 on first reading by title only.
Second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Are there any additional comments? Public?
May I make a comment, please? Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. My only comment would just be that the full agreement, the economic development agreement forms of the road use form of the decommissioning agreement, it's my understanding that they will be posted online. Once they're finalized, that allows us to then have our development plan deemed complete. And once it is deemed complete, it will be available online for general public. And I would just like to request that that certainly does happen, because I would like these agreements, they are public documents, and I would like them to be, available. So I know that they'll happen through that, and I'll work with the Plan Commission to make sure that happens. And then if the county, if you all desire to have them online in any other way, certainly happy to facilitate that however I can as well.
Okay, so that's a different avenue than what I was just talking about. So
Okay.
anything that we do like that, you can get to it now online.
Right.
Because
Understood.
at least for
Okay,
my tenure.
thank you. That's the only comment. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Mr. Provines?
Andrew Provines, 3920 County Road 75, Butler, Indiana. I just actually have a question. So you guys were saying that you made modifications to that. When?
There was, so the modification was due to some comments of Chris Gaumer and
Last Monday.
last Monday's meeting to change language of the decommissioning cost as part of the decommissioning agreement. The Sculpin was proposing language involving the 125% bond requirement, and they had language about salvage costs being subtracted. And that was even a discussion in the plan commission meetings, like whatever, a year ago, 6
I was
months
gonna
ago.
say, I
whatever
heard
it
that
was,
like a
yes.
year ago or something.
Right,
a while
exactly,
ago. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So our request was that they put in there a reference to the UDO section and not add in their own calculation section on salvage, so that the UDO would stand and hold instead of this. And that was discussed Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. And then Friday, they had proposed some changes, but not that particular change. So I talked to Chris Gammer, we pushed back on that, and Friday, I think it was, they agreed to make that change to match the UDO.
I'm just wondering when the change went into place in the document.
I think Friday.
Okay. I just didn't know if everyone had a chance to read it, and I don't even know if that's required, honestly. I just wondered, was that document put online, was the public made aware so they could see the change, read the change, come in and talk about the change? Just in general, I don't know the process for that. I'd love to know it.
Okay, so all of them that I have put on prior, I didn't have to.
Okay.
So I don't have to actually put this online. So I haven't put anything up on it. It was on the agenda that I listed. I have not had anybody contact asking to see it. So, I mean, I guess unless, if they were listening, following it from last week, they would have known that Chris asked for changes and that Sculpin had agreed to make the changes.
Okay. It's hard for everyone to pay attention to everything that's going on, so I just wanted to make sure.
So, I
everyone
mean,
was
just so
aware.
you know, my plan, I don't plan on posting all of these with an agenda prior because it's next to impossible to get it done.
My other question is just in general on the documents on like all these documents being put out there. I've had a lot of people say to me, I can't find the documents. We couldn't even find the documents until we asked Chris where they were, which he graciously pointed us directly to them.
Okay.
But it might be something to make sure or rework the website or something. So if something is up there that you're trying to get to, it's just easier.
I'm not sure, I honestly am not sure on Chris's part. My part is, like, it's gonna be a totally different company even.
Right.
That we're in
That's
the
fine.
process of changing as we speak.
And I like that because it is tough sometimes. I mean,
It's tough for me sometimes to
There's a-
even find it. I know where I put it.
and there was a BZA meeting where a guy
I
literally
mean, it
said,
is.
when I go to zoning, when I look up zoning, I get nothing.
Right.
I mean, that kind of stuff like keywords, searches for the general
And that's why we are.
public to look on.
Yeah, that's why we're switching
Okay.
to what we're working on. But I get it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second on first reading, right?
If you would be so kind as to read the title.
Oh, does this take 3 readings?
No,
I don't think it takes 3 readings.
it's probably just a single reading.
It's,
Well, first of all, there was a motion by Mike. Was there any seconds? Okay,
Yes.
Todd seconded. Okay, I hadn't seen that.
I thought you quoted first reading. Yeah,
okay.
he did say first reading, so,
Did. But if 3 aren't necessary, we'll just,
Let me look. I'm still trying to.
yeah.
Well, you
There
don't
is-
usually do 3 readings for contract signing.
We
Necessarily.
normally only do 3 readings if it's an ordinance or if it involves charging the public a fee.
Yeah, fees or penalties.
This is their group, like, this isn't charging, like, you're not gonna have to pay
Right.
a fee because of this. Like, the horse and buggy, we had to
Yeah.
do that because we were charging the public a
This is an
fee.
agreement. That's completely different, I would think.
Yes.
the only thing that I'm wondering, if we did make changes. And should we either hold off for a week or do the second and third reading next week so everybody has a chance to go over this thing?
I'm sorry, if it only requires a single reading, I would ask that you hold off so that people can have a chance to look at the revisions. I mean, that would be my request.
That's what I'm kind of thinking myself.
I have no
Well, I
problem with
mean-
that. We're not under a
I'm
gun of a time.
okay with that. There weren't any really material changes that in it at all. It was just.
I think that's part of
cleaning
the
up some
legal issue
language.
is were the changes material or not that happened, the change on Friday. I can see an argument either way, but if you're willing to have a week for the public to view it, that's probably a
Let's
better
do
idea.
this. Let's point out what the changes were, and vote on it next week.
This is the whole reason I said we weren't doing it today in my email on Thursday,
Let's do that.
or on Friday.
That's
I
fine.
guess we should have just listened to Susan to start with.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we'll table
You
it.
want that county manager
Can we
position?
put that on a calendar? It's recorded. It is recorded, hot dog.
Can you do like a needle point?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so do we have to do anything with this motion? Do you just withdraw all of
I'll
it?
withdraw the motion.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Todd, you second?
I'll withdraw my second.
Thank you.
Okay, that's behind us
You
for now.
guys.
Ben, you are up.
Good morning, Mr.
Cat
Parker.
today.
You had the week off, right? So
Yeah. I'm,
I figured you came back to a bunch of work.
I hope you
Well,
had
I
a
am,
nice
but
time.
nothing for you yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing catch up.
I kind of filled him in on the bunks having to be moved.
Oh, did you?
That's funny.
Yeah, that was an expensive error on their part. They had to drive back from Wisconsin to move them.
Is that a 100-ton crane, 200-ton crane?
You know, I don't remember what it was.
They're expensive to move around.
It wasn't,
It was a bed
that,
mounted crane,
Oh, so it's just a 40-ton.
but each one of them bunkers was 9,000 pounds.
yeah.
40-ton.
They had a pinch grapple on the top.
Yeah.
Pinch them and move them.
Yeah, wow.
Kind of easier just to do it once, right?
Yeah, I don't know who,
They had a lot more time and travel than they had in moving
Oh,
those bunks.
yeah, that's for sure. So, well, the main thing I brought up today for you, I swore I sent this to Andrew for review, but it says Ackridge's bonds, a performance bond and payment bond. They're for 100% of the contract, payable to DeKalb County. Pass them around to Susan, and then once Andrew has a chance to review those, if you guys, in case I'm not here next week, you can act on those and accept those.
okay.
There is also a certificate of insurance in there.
Is that for the bridge?
Yeah, that's for Bridge 132 for
132?
Ackridge.
Okay.
And if I did send it, he got it again. I looked for my email to where I sent that, where I could reference it. And I sent the bid bond, but I don't see where I sent that one.
Okay.
But those was given to me right before I left on vacation at our pre-construction meeting.
Okay.
So Steve brought those up. They did start on that bridge last week. They did close the road last week. They did start on it. My crew went out and removed the guardrail on that bridge because it was a decent rail and I wanted to salvage it
Oh,
for future projects or repair or whatever. So the excavator was due to be hauled in towards the end of the week last week to start demo on that structure. So that's moving along. At our pre-con, the schedule that they give, they're hoping to have that whole bridge complete, open back up to traffic the week of the 20th of November.
okay.
Right, just right before Thanksgiving, right before the asphalt plant shut down is the plan.
That's pretty quick.
If weather cooperates,
Yeah.
yes.
We get the weather we've had and they'll
Yes.
get it.
Yeah, you know, we talked about that the other day out the highway meeting. They've been really fortunate the weather they've had out there. Very, very little rain days. Yeah. So that is good. So, the only other thing, a couple other things here, just the 2023 CCMG projects is complete. All the paving's done, the stone shoulders are on, and then the 35 is striped. I'm working on closeout stuff for that, to get that submitted into the state and get payment done and have another year of community crossings in the books.
By the way, that 35 turned out so nice.
It did.
There's one area though south of the fire department there, on where they ground it down after, why'd they ground that?
The problem that they had, it's just, that was a worse area.
Okay.
They didn't have the trucks to supply the materials as quickly as they needed. So when that paver goes, you want to keep that paver moving continuously. That's why you'll see a lot of times transfer machines, you'll see following them four-wheel buggies right behind the paver that they're dumping the
Yeah.
asphalt in. That keeps that paver moving.
Okay.
Anytime that paver stops, that screed can sink. And then when they pull, it creates a dip.
That's what happened then.
That's what happened there.
It's no big deal. I just thought, this is so pretty, and then that
And, you
scar
know, we
there.
could do this. Typically, we've never had trouble because we're so close to the plant
Yeah.
and the trucks can keep coming, but they had the airport project going on. They had our project and I think somewhere else, and plus being short of truck drivers,
Yeah.
that happened. Unfortunately, there's quite a few areas, them little dips. I noticed them on 35 and 52, and you know, it's not going to hurt the road. The road's still good. It's just a little imperfection in the road. But
Which
that
is-
one there was bad enough, you could actually see the cars drop it. So I had to mill that one just a little bit.
They did nice with the stone shoulders too. It just looks nice. Is there anything we can do on County Road 60, just west of 31? Dips down and it is like, so between where 29 used to be, where we abandoned 29, between there and 31, that must be full of peat down there. The road is just horrible there. I mean, I slowed down about 40 mile an hour to,
All that 60 needs redone.
does it? Just that area there is just something
I
awful.
got an engineer's estimate to do 60 engineering from 427 to St. Joe. It was an astronomical number. I told you what it was. Do you remember?
7 or 8 million
million?
It
probably.
was more than that.
Was it?
8 comes to mind.
I think it was double digits.
Yeah.
Might have
Well,
been.
rest of 60,
It was terrible.
Yeah.
just that area there is really bad. And
Yeah, 60, right, I don't know what it is, that road has got a lot of peat and muck on it.
yeah, as you head towards Spencerville, it gets bad too. But that is so highly used now, that road right there. That's so busy between 427 and 35. That's a cut through people use a lot to get to the back east side of Auburn.
I've got 60 submitted on a CCMG from 29 to 35 for next year.
That'd be wonderful if they, and whatever we could do to get,
Right.
and it's been that way ever since I was a kid, but it's so bad now
It's
that,
mostly worse east of 35.
yes.
is
Yeah,
where the
I would
peat
agree
is-
with that,
is
yeah.
where it's bad. That road, it will hump and move. I've got pictures down there where that road is moved and it's unreal what that does, that peat and muck. And that's why we gotta have an engineer to come up with some type of stabilization for that. We can go in there and make attempts at it, but it's nice to have an engineering design on it. They'll have to do a lot of soil samples down through there and it won't be a cheap project.
Yeah.
But that's, as we get money freed up, we moving forward, I'd like to have, that'd be another one I'd like to have some engineering done on. Because I want to do 60 there between 427 and 69, where that flood's so bad down through there. I want to get that designed up and I question getting some safety, some federal safety money on that, because that's a 90-10 match, but I don't think I can get it for that. Even though there's been cars submerged in water in there, it's not really qualifies as their safety, I guess. But to me, it does, but that's a difference of opinion, I suppose.
By the way, Denny Ransom thanks you, his back thanks you for when he drives over 69 on 11A, his back don't go out. Says you did a best job he's ever seen on fixing it.
Yeah, API done that for us.
You know, he said he appreciated it. He says you even did it right. He's drives the dump truck over it now. He doesn't go through the roof, so he's.
Yeah, I forgot to
He's
mention
happy.
that. They did that the Friday before
They
the fair.
fixed the 11A
Oh, I was
bridge.
gonna say, I haven't been out.
Yeah,
I
thank
was
you for
wondering
getting
about
that
that.
done.
Yep,
Yeah,
That is done.
yep, that's done.
yep,
Good deal. Good
Yep,
deal.
that'll be, I haven't been over it, but I've been told it's nice.
yeah. He said it was impressive.
Good.
Okay.
And I told him your theory that maybe that bridge has lost its camber a little bit, and because what else would push that drain like that and everything
I don't
else?
know, break that curb and all that.
Yeah, so there had to be some pressure there pushing that.
Me and NDOT disagree on that, but I'm no structural engineer, but there's, just the way that moved. It just,
It isn't right, I'll tell you that.
no,
It went both directions.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, which is what it's gonna do if that camber goes out of it.
well, it's
So,
making a straight, I mean,
yeah.
They swear it wasn't that, but they're going to.
Yeah,
You know, they went up through Waterloo, I talked to Dave in Waterloo, and they had a big suck hole there parallel to 427. There's a 28-inch teardrop storm line, it's been in there for years, it's just a teardrop shape, square on the bottom, that created a big suck hole in there. And that state, all of US 6, 427 drains into that, and so does some of Waterloo.
wow.
The state was supposed to repair that because it's in the state road right away. They got everything all lined up, and they went, right before they went to do it, some big wheels stopped them. Nope, that ain't ours, that's Waterloo's. Pulled the same card on them. NDOT will only maintain between curb and curb through the cities and towns. Anything outside of that, even though all their stormwater goes in through it, they did not help with that project. Stuck it all on Waterloo.
Take more of our money and provide less service.
Yeah.
And even though all their stormwater from 6 and 427 goes into that same drain, it's in their road right away, they washed their hands of it. I don't think that's right. It should have, if anything, should have been a joint effort because Waterloo does drain into it.
Sure.
You know, but they completely washed their hands of it, and I don't think that's right. But yet they're here to help. Just call them, we're here to help. I'm not trying to put them down. I mean, it's just, it's just two big ones right in a row, and, you know, other times they do help, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it's just frustrating. They get a majority of the money, and then they just keep slapping the locals with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Locals got very limited funds.
It's called the golden rule. Those that have the gold make the rules.
Yep. I do have a couple purchases coming up. I'm getting some quotes on that we need to act on, shop truck, and then we're looking at a different trailer. I'd like to talk with a couple of you, if we get a chance, what I'm thinking and going over, and then I'm waiting on some more quotes to come in, and I'll bring those up here to you. We'll hopefully make a decision and move on some of those, so. But that's all I have for you guys today, so sorry if I did not send that bond out. I thought I did. I can't find an email on it, but.
I got your email this morning, you know,
Yeah,
at 9 or
that's why I
something.
sent it, because I was gonna reference it when I brought them up, because I know I talked to Susan about it, because that's why I'll bring them hard copies up to you when I get them, and I swore I sent them out. So. Maybe it's out in outer space zooming around yet, I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
That's what a week off does.
So anyway, unless you guys got anything else for me, that's all I have today.
Anything for Ben?
A lot of discussion last week on, believe it or not, MVH and LRS funding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Representative Pressel was there, and some discussion about the Indiana First committee that's going to kind of tear that whole thing apart. But and LTAP did a couple of real good presentations on the funding formula, the funding formula, which is,
Isn't that a mind-boggling thing?
oh, Lord. I mean, it takes you a half hour just to figure out where all those little squiggly lines go.
Yep.
And it's hugely complicated. But I think there is some motivation to dive into that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure from AIC and Indiana County Commissioners and
It'd be great,
Mayors and Commissioners Caucus on.
because it's not working.
Well, no, it's not. It just keeps going backwards.
That's the boss hug funding, 50% of my 50% of your 50%. That's what we end up getting.
That'd be great picking.
So
actually get
there's going
something.
to be a lot of pressure there.
Yeah.
ICC is getting in front of the Indiana First Committee, and that's all Ways and Means and Senate Appropriations and all those committee chairs. So,
Good, I'll try to keep an eye out for that, that'd be interesting.
yeah, I'm going to make some copies of that stuff that we got from, Jen Sharkey was, made a couple of presentations. So, I think we have some reason to be optimistic, a little bit, anyway. So hopefully, and, I did stop at the last redevelopment commission meeting too, and got a consensus from the commission. If we need some additional funding for County Road 56, they're willing to look at kicking some more in
Great.
from the TIF fund. So,
You know, that'd be good, because that's really going to help revitalize that area.
yeah, well, yeah, that's a huge benefit to the TIF district. So, they're more than willing to.
It'd be great, because they've
help out.
contributed quite a bit already.
Yeah, 300,000.
300 and something, yeah. 3 or 350
So
or
I
something.
imagine they might be able to come up with another 100 or so if we need it. We just don't, that goes to bid January, right?
January.
Yeah, so. Okay,
That's good. That's good news.
we'll see.
Man, you're just positive today, aren't you?
Well, try to be. Try to be.
Good.
And
Yeah, good deal.
of course, you know, NDOT is NDOT, but I do have assurances from NDOT that they're gonna do everything they can to make sure they fund the full 80% of that project.
You know, and they have been historically with other projects, federal aid projects, I've been hearing that they have been able to fund the construction.
Yeah, yeah,
So, fingers crossed.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Do we want to wrap this up before the break?
As well.
You got pledge at 10.
Pledge and
Yeah, just do the pledge and walk
anything
out.
else, anyone? Speak now, forever hold your peace, because we're going to adjourn this meeting. And we are adjourned.
I've got plenty to do. No arguments from me.
Go to the pledge and go home.
So you might be better off just talking to Chris. You might be better off.